That's all right. So obviously, like I say, mate, this will be going on to our YouTube channel and stuff. So for those people who do tune in and watch, could you just give a brief intro of who you are and what you do, mate?
Yeah, myself. Yeah, my name's Dominic Ricciardi from Peterborough. Nice to meet you all. I don't know where everybody is from the UK or worldwide. So I'm mainly a business entrepreneur. I run a few different businesses, different types of businesses as well, spread them amongst different sectors. Mainly the catering, restaurant, hotel industry. And as we are right now, we're in the middle of lockdown, so business is pretty slow at the moment on that side of things, as you can imagine, because our main people are restaurants and pubs. So, but yeah, on the side of that, I run another two businesses which not are in that sector. One is a little bit of hospitality, and then I'm a partner in a couple of other small businesses. I'm property. I have a quite substantial property portfolio. Some single lets, some HMOs. I've never done any of the new stuff, let to let, whatever it's called, or rent to rent, or whatever it's called, that sort of stuff. So it's traditional rental and buy to lets, and then I've just started developing. So I've just done my first 8 houses I've built. They're just sold free this week in the last couple of weeks, which is great. In fact, Paul was going to come and have a look, but we got locked down. So that got started at back end of last year and just finished, literally. So they're going up for sale. And then I've got just bought another plot for 12. And then I'm going to a substantial plot, bit too big for me, but go big or go home, as they say. And that's 50 apartments with a commercial in the middle. So that's my new thing. I do, you'd think, has this guy got time? But I make time. I don't sleep much. And then I've just, earlier this year, got involved in network marketing. I've never really approached that before because I'm not really into a product base. I've got a product based business already. So, but this is something different. And that's actually, to be honest with you, the last 6 months, that's transformed everything that I've done. So I've really focused my energy a lot on that since March. It's been great because my main business slowed down, so it just came at an opportune time. Yeah. So yes, that's me. Love getting my hands in. Love business. Love every aspect. Love self-development. From all levels, from the basic levels of how to be a better person, a better you, improving every day. We've all got weaknesses, and in fact, I just had a jam donut. I've been so one of my things of trying to sort of develop my own physique as well as my mind. So yeah, that's pretty much me. Thanks, Paul.
No worries. So if obviously this is a property community, mate, so if we just start with the new builds and stuff, did you do any training around that, or did you just kind of
no. Same as when I bought my first property. I was very much didn't know what this was. This was, I think my first house was probably about 25 years ago when they were sort of cheap, So then days, there wasn't even really buy-to-let mortgages. It was very tricky them days to get a buy-to-let mortgage. I don't know if anybody was buying property them days. So all these now new type of, creative lending wasn't around,
Yeah.
So yeah, with the building, I do have a business partner, Steve, who he works full-time in a development company for a big company. So he understands all aspects of development, so he's literally just project managed the whole thing. For those 8 that he did, he's project managed the whole lot for me. So with his experience, so it's always good to get in bed with somebody that knows what they're doing if you don't know what you're doing, because I couldn't possibly do that.
Yeah.
I've been to the site.
I was just about to say, a lot of people in this community get a lot of training and stuff, and I think to the point where it paralyzes them from taking action and doing deals. So obviously you do none of that. So how do you decide if it's a deal or not?
Well, I call it what you just said, analysis, paralysis by analysis.
Yeah.
But it is important because, I've had as many bad deals. In fact, I've probably had more bad deals than I had good deals, and that's probably because I didn't do my due diligence enough or whatever, because I'm quite jumping in type of person. But you know, I look at the upside of the profit that I can potentially make in a place, and if it's within a certain percentage, and I can calculate that quite quickly. You know, when you've done quite a few properties like that one you were renovating yesterday, you know, you get to a point where you can walk through a house and know roughly what it's going to cost just by walking through.
Yeah.
You know, plasterboard, lights, that's £2 grand, £3 grand, £4. You know, just round it up. You know, I don't do a spreadsheet ever, but I can just work out, because that's through experience. Obviously, the early days, and I have bought places where I didn't do enough due diligence. One was a 4-bed HMO. I bought it cheap. That was a good thing. So if you always got your profits, the business I have here, I buy in commercial equipment. My profit is when I buy it. Okay, the profit comes when I sell it, but it's how I buy it. When I buy it, then that gives you room for obviously your profit, and it gives you room for error as well. You know, so if you've made any mistakes in your due diligence, like, you know, it needed a new roof or whatever it is, then, well, hopefully you don't want it to have a new roof, but you know, so that's the thing. So obviously you all got negotiation skills. It's about negotiating that price. So yeah. Are you still there, Paul? You seem to be freezing.
Yeah, I'm going to go into my hotspot now, mate. The Wi-Fi is just playing a little bit there.
It's okay.
Sorry. So in terms of negotiation, have you done any work on that? Do you read any books on that?
Electric.
Can you hear us?
We can. We were just saying that's why. Is that what it's like living in Newcastle, mate? You don't get much internet.
No, they're not bothered about us up here, man. Yeah. I was just saying, mate, about you negotiating. Is that just natural, or have you done any work on that? Read any books on that?
Yeah, I have. I do read a lot of books. I went on a course which I loved. I knew a lot of it anyway. Sometimes it's good to know stuff, but then when it gets topped up, I don't know if any of you guys watched the Wolf on Wall Street. I went on his 2-day sales thing. It was really very good. And I understood a lot of it anyway. So my thing is when I negotiate with somebody, I'm always trying to find the backstory of, you know, say for instance, if I'm going to view a house or I'm going to buy some equipment, first of all, I find out if it's their equipment, you know, did they originally buy it or did they inherit it or whatever. Similar with a house, you know, sort of like how long you own the house, you know, so that you know they bought it, you know, 25 years ago. So, you know, now they've probably got quite a bit of equity in it, so they're prepared to probably negotiate rather than they've only got, you know, they're going to make a loss if they don't lose it at the selling price. So that's what I try and do, is find a bit of a backstory. Then I try and find out a little bit about them, you know, as a person. And this is all just via conversation, just as you chat, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I try and do. That's where my sort of due diligence. I want to buy it at the right price. Obviously, it's more difficult if you've got more people going for that same property. That's where it gets a bit trickier, because then you're in a bit of a battle with other buyers. Yeah. But, you know, again, likability, tonality. Talks about tonality. If you get somebody to like you, you know, then they'll probably warm to you as an honest, trustworthy person. If it were I'd rather, yeah, it might be a couple of grand less, but I prefer that person. I don't think they're going to give me any hassle. Don't over negotiate the price, and that, you know, that's it. So, and I think as long as you are honest with people all the time, and people can see that you're trustworthy, then you know, and you never, you know, you build up a reputation like that as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then just finish up on your new builds, mate. So you've kind of rapidoed through those, haven't you? From when we first spoke about you getting the 8. And yeah. Now you've bumped that up to 50.
The 50 isn't confirmed yet. It's expensive projects. It's 1.5 to buy the plot is 1.5 million. With it's a 5 million build cost. It's a lot. It's a big project. It's a bit, you know, I've got balls of steel, but this one I'm sort of, you know, my heart's racing a little. It doesn't take long. But this, you know, because it's a big project, so we might have to JV this one with a few other people, and even my friend Steve, who's well versed in this sort of stuff. He's a little slightly nervous, so we're thinking about JVing that. But we are looking at another one with 35, and that's more because what it is with these ones being apartments, they need a lot of you know, a lot of groundwork. You know, And the problem is when you've got a lot of groundworks in the new builds, you don't know what's going in the ground. So if somebody says to you, you know, it's hard to do it. You know, you can get a quote initially, but then they find soft soil or whatever it is that's, you know, for when they do the piling or whatever. That's the problem when it goes in the ground. You know, very much like when you guys are doing property renos, you know, a lot of the money you don't see. It's, you know, it's the bits you don't see, the electrics, the plumbing, all the rest of it. They're the costly bits, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, the decorative bit is the easy bit, you know, because you can price that up very easily. But it's just what goes on behind the scenes that makes the whole thing expensive. So that's the nerve we won about that. But a general 4-bed, 3-bedroom house is easy because, you know, it's just one house. But when you're going up, you know, 25 high, well, not 25 floors, but, you know, you're going up sort of like 10, 5, 6, 7 floors up. It just gets a bit more of an unknown, especially when you've never done it before. But, you know, you have to try these things. And it's not, like I said, we've done the numbers, plus we've put in their error money, you know, quite a lot of error money, 500 grand, 500,000, you know, extra if it goes wrong. So we know what we're going to make. And if it goes a bit wrong, that's 500 grand that we're going to potentially not make. But still, there's enough money in the game for us to do well anyway. But 500 grand that'd be great if we don't need to use it type of things. An extra 250 grand each, which is nice.
Yeah. Honestly, I just like, obviously, like, I've done a lot of training myself, and I just can't get my head around how you just jump into them things.
Look, guys. You know, look, I am a little bit different, so I'm probably not the best person to be speaking here. But you know, I just want to give you from all aspects. Yeah. You know, by trade, I'm a hairdresser. I'm a barber. Okay, that's my business. But so that was a great thing because, you know, by becoming a hairdresser and becoming a barber, you speak to people all day. You become a master of people. If you master people, you master your own personality to resonate with that person you're speaking to. That's where it all starts from. Yeah. You know, and then obviously then you move to the business levels and you just start getting ideas of stuff and not be too nervous. You know, I started this multi-level marketing business in March, and I'm one of the high flyers around. Never done multi-level marketing, didn't even really understand it, but I just jumped in, had blind faith, and I had to have blind faith in the project, and now I'm one of the biggest ones in the country already, in fact in the world. So, you know, so it's just about, once you've got faith in yourself, once you've got faith in the product and belief, then you just go in. But it's different for different people. Don't do what I've done, because like I said, I've made enough mistakes. You know, sometimes I've had a profitable company here that I run here that keeps me going. From the profits, you know, you've all read the Robert Kiyosaki books, I suppose. So you make profit from one area, whatever that is. You reinvest your profits into something that's going to give you more profit, or a longer term profit, or something that's going to build an equity, or whatever. You know, that's all I've ever done. I've not had a lavish life. I have a nice car, I have a nice house, we have nice holidays, but I'm not really, you know, so I use my money to make more money all the time. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. You know, it's not always about the money either. You know, I get passionate about doing a deal. You know, I get excited. You know, I remember when I used to rent out a room, and that's really what I remember, that feeling when when you first rent out a room, you think, oh, fucking hell, you know, guys giving you a deposit. And, you know, when I was self-managed my own lets, it's just exciting. That's what motivated me to go and buy another property. I never really set out like you guys now. You've got all this information available to you. In them days, there was no information. There was hardly any mortgages. You know, so I remember having to scrimp and scrape for my first deposit. And funnily enough, just on another subject, and I'll shut up and let you talk, but somebody said the other day about how did I build up this property portfolio. Of all the most of the properties that I've bought, and even in the house that I currently live in, my own house, and it was an expensive house, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't. But what I do is I put myself in a position sometimes of stress, and I probably shouldn't. I'm probably dead by the time I'm 50 odd, but I'm actually 52. I'm still alive now. But I sometimes put myself in a position of pressure, and I make it happen. So if it didn't make it happen, I would never moved on to that next house or next house or next house. Yeah. You know, sometimes you look at something that's unachievable, but actually think, you know, I'm talking big stuff, but, you know, in your own lives, you look at what you think is unachievable. You say, well, look, can I make it happen? Can I get creative? What can I do to get that extra 20 grand or 100 grand or 50 grand or whatever it is you're looking at, and just get creative.
Yeah.
Go to family, begs, you know, if you can make the figures stack up, you know there's profit there, then you go to whoever and you show them on a bit of paper, literally sometimes back of a fag packet, but you do your salesmanship. It all starts from you, your personality, getting that training, as in resonate with people, you know, getting them to buy into you. Once they buy into you, then you can sell them anything.
Yeah, of course. What's the saying, mate? Is it if you want to take the island, you got to burn the boats?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's it. Burn your bridges. Exactly that. Yeah, you put yourself in a position like that, and it's actually true. You know, sometimes we play, you know, you play small and you play careful in life, but that, and I'm only just, you know, I'm 52 now, so I'm only just starting to realise that now. And it's, the older you get, the more you start realising these things.
Yeah.
That actually, and I said to my daughters yesterday morning, I was driving in the car, you know, it's only starting to me realise that you can be, do, or have anything you want in life if you put the work in.
Yeah.
You know, the work in yourself. I'm trying to get them into self-development, you know. So Rob Moore was a classic example, because I've got a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old that don't want to do jack all apart from being on their phones.
Yeah.
So I made them come down my yard, and we got pressure washing, cleaning, because they wanted new clothes. So I made them, you know, they went home filthy. My wife said, what the hell? But so what I did was I bought them the Robert Kiyosaki book for teenagers, and I bought them one each. And I said, look, so here's 50 quid each. Yeah, so I'm going to give you 50 quid each if you can read the book and give me a 10-point review on the book. And what sort of review? I said, just want a review. Just tell me about what you learned from the book. Then they can have 50 quid each. If I can get them started in that mindset now, at that age, you know, I started that mindset when I was probably 25. Luckily, I got involved in a small business years ago, and they were pushing, you know, self-development. I'm so pleased I did, because that sort of brought me to, I think, where I am today. You know?
Yes. So what did self-development look like when you were 25? Because obviously now it's like comes out your ears, doesn't it? Podcast, YouTube, books.
Oh God, I don't know how you all do it. Them days it was American speaking. If I tell you what, I'm full enough of I actually got to speak to him last week. There was a guy called Les Brown. I don't know if you've heard of Les Brown. American motivational sort of good. He's a really good guy. And I actually was on to get a call with him last week with one of my friends. I don't know him. I just told him the story that he was the first person I'd ever spoken to when he was, you know, not spoken to, that I'd listened to.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. It was more American. Obviously, Anthony Robbins was getting around, but now, again, it's just all that information. You can just select what you want, and I don't get time for it all, you know, because it's just too much to listen to.
Yeah.
Don't get, you know, analysis, you know, paralysis by analysis. Don't analyze too much. Don't listen too much. You just do your own thing.
Yeah.
Just on a side note on that, I want to mention this bit for you people that are into the woo-woo stuff a little bit, maybe. So what I did last couple of years, and I was saying to you, Paul, when I went to that event, Rob Moore's event in February, I got a bit more into, you know, into a bit more of becoming more relaxed about stuff as well. You know, rather than, I've been hyper for fucking 35 years, excuse my French, sorry, been hyper for 30 odd years, running around like a lunatic, and probably not getting as far as what some other people have got, although I've done well. But sometimes you can probably even block out your own success by just being over nervous, over stressed, over gonna do this, gonna do that, gonna do the other. So I started going internal, doing some internal work and doing some sort of meditation and that sort of stuff. And they talk about having a gratitude diary and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I never really had time for that, but now I'm starting to understand that sort of thing. So, you know, what I do now all the time, and I do it now naturally in my head, is for every bad thing that happens, there's always a good. Yeah, there's always a good. There's probably more good than what you realise. But when you really understand that, really, you know, because I'm talking about it now, you probably don't get it, but when you really understand it, that makes a big difference to you, you know. And then, you know, you know, like I did a bad trade. I did something stupid in March. I put a trade on the I don't know anything about trading, so don't take any advice at all, but I put a trade on the Dow to go down, and it did go down. I made a profit, so I left my position open, greed and fear. So don't trade unless you know what you're doing. and I lost an awful lot of money. The position it was just about to go down because Biden got in. Then they found a cure for coronavirus or whatever. So it shot the price up and I was on a low position. So I lost loads. So anyway, so I took quite a few lessons, not just a lesson, Dominic, don't fucking trade again. not just that lesson, but other lessons that I really did get from that, you know. So as I started doing some internal work and I started appreciating things more, my lessons, the good and the bad, and even not so good, it's amazing how your life sort of more, I don't know why, it's either you recognise more that more good things happen to you than what you think they do.
Yeah.
You think, bad luck. What we do is we focus on the bad luck.
Yeah, I think it's Dr. John DeMartini who says every positive must have a negative and vice versa. Every negative must have a positive. And it's kind of what you choose to dwell on, like you've just touched on there.
Yeah, but that's changed. So all of a sudden, since that February, that Rob Moore course, which, by the way, again, another example of me, I said Paul was laughing last night, I went on the wrong course. So I realised in the morning, I don't want to do that. No, I turned up anyway. I thought I've paid for it. I just paid $2,000 for this thing. First time I've ever done that, actually. This first course I've ever been on, like that, that I've actually paid for. Yeah, and I turned up, but then from that day, I met this guy, Biddish, where I got into meditation, got into this sort of gratitude thing. And it's amazing how that makes, I don't know, you just attract, you know, they talk about the law of attraction. You just attract more things. And then just opportunities drop my way. You know, that 50 apartment thing, I didn't go looking for that. There's so many things dropped in my way, you know, that have just been, in fact, I've got it here. I'm in my office, and I since March, I'd like to show you, but it's somewhere. I'm just having my office renovated. I've filled up a whole A4 sheet, literally, and the back page, so 1.5 pages of all the positive things that have happened since March, since Corona, since lockdown, and not even small things either. You know, big things, and they've just all, you know, so. I'm putting the whole thing together. You may or may not believe it, but I'm going to believe it because I love it. Because just so many positive things are happening for me, and it's great. And I'm just attracting them. And as you're grateful for them, maybe some in the universe, wherever you want to call it, just comes back and gives you more of it.
Yeah, cool. Like just while we're talking about this stuff, Dom, like this industry is like it's scattered with people saying you should be doing X, Y, and Z. But the more I talk to people like you don't do a lot of those kind of things. So like one of them, for example, do you set goals and do you like recite your goals every day and stuff? Is that something you do?
Not every day. I've been setting goals since I did that business I was telling about. It's about 25, and actually I've got some goals. And what I did actually do, because I found a load when we were moving house. I've got all my goals. So what I did was I put year 1 and then behind it year 2, and I found about 8 years worth from when I was. Okay. And it's funny because, you know, I wrote these goals down and they're piddly now, you know. So yes, I do set goals, and I have pictures of. In fact, because I'm having my own office renovated, but I have pictures of. I've got this. I don't know. Again, you have to. I just took it down. It's been on my desk for 2 years, but I bought a little. You know those things you put on your mantelpiece at home? It's like the photograph, that flashes the photographs through, you know. Yeah. So I bought one of them with my dream goals on it, you know, my car, my house, my peace of mind, you know, all this sort of stuff. That's what I have, you know, just going rotating. You know, I've got pictures of a big boat that I want to buy and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but then I also set daily goals, you know, but I don't write them down every day. I used to. I'm going to do this, going to do that, and I don't write them down every day. Like this morning, my goal was, right, Don, we're going to eat healthy all day, and I just had a donut. one of my lads bought it, and I said, fucking, what are you doing? So it's only 10 o'clock. So you just bought a bag of donuts, and I'm normally really good. I say, no, I don't want a donut. But
I love that.
So I broke my goals already. 10 o'clock, and I'm finished for the day.
So do you know when you were saying there you'd wrote year 1, year 2, year 3 up to 8 years worth of goals? Did you achieve most of those?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. and I put, you know, the problem is then I was much more into the material, because that's the way we go, you know, more very material. You know, it was like a Rolex, and, you know, I've got a Rolex, it was this sort of car, I've got that car, this sort of house. But I also set myself, you know, business goals as well. You know, I'm going to increase my sales turnover by 25% this year, going to do this, I want to strategize a business, you know, so all of that, you know. I'll tell you what I do, and I have done now for 25 years. Yes, probably longer. Guaranteed every New Year's Eve I do it, because I make my daughters do it as well. So on the 31st of December, I've got a book at home. I've got one of these books at home. It's just one of these. And it's only one of them, like a blue normal A4 book. What I do is I write down what I've achieved last year. So I bought this property, did that property, did that deal, did this, did that. So I just write, you know, probably a page full of stuff, because it's good to look back as well. You think, shit, look what I have achieved this year, you know? And then in 5 years' time, you'll look back at that book. You keep that, I mean, that book's going to last you for years. Yeah. In fact, I'll tell you what I've done in that book. I calculated, I know it's weird, sorry for being weird, guys. You probably weren't expecting a weirdo like me on here, but what I did do is I calculated by the time I'm 70, right? So I've written down 70 pages down, well, not for 70 now, 18 pages down the road. I've written something, I can't remember what I've written in it, but I've written a note to myself. Dom, you're now 70, you weirdo. That's what I've done, because, you know, I just do stuff like that. You know, when I'm set, I get up early in the mornings. I get up at sort of like 5-ish, 5:30. I don't go to bed till 1 o'clock, you know, midnight, and I'm sort of definitely by sort of 6-ish. Sometimes this morning was a bit later. I had that Zoom call, got my Xbox. I do a little bit of it. Again, I used to beat myself up. I'd never go on my Xbox, and I wouldn't watch telly. I was stupid, you know. So don't get too much into worrying about, oh, I feel I need to work all the time. It's not. But actually, more has come since I've started taking a bit more of a relaxation about it. Yeah. That's probably is because I am in a good financial position now, and that's always been my goal. And when you get there, you feel a bit more relaxed. But if you can try and be relaxed before, you know, then it's, you know. But so yeah.
So what would you say was a tipping point for you, from going to like worrying about it all the time, working all the hours, to then realizing I actually need to chill out a bit? Yeah.
I think it's this meditation I've been doing the last couple of years. I meditate every morning. You know, so it was in about really hit me about October last year. Yes, it's my half term. The kids' half term. We were going to go to Cyprus. I think it was. I can't remember where we were going, but you know, we take 3 or 4 holidays a year normally. And I like to get this when I spend good quality time with the kids. We're out the country, you know, we do a lot of good stuff together. That's why we take a lot of holidays. But I remember it was pissing down driving on the A1 motorway. It was hammering it down. And I felt, and I was looking forward to going on holiday the next day. But actually, when I was driving in that car, I didn't actually feel too bothered that I was even going away, because I just felt sort of inner contentment. And that comes from the combination of, you know, being where I am in life right now, which is great, you know, financially sort of, you know, stable, inner peace with myself, you know, feeling good about doing a bit of meditation. That's not a lot, you know, I didn't turn into a monk or anything, you know, so I've got the haircut for it. But, you know, just having that time, then time of reflection, you know, contemplate, you know, that sort of stuff, you know. But then, so I used to beat myself up for trying to chill out. Come on, you lazy git, get out there, grind it out, get in them trenches. And that's no good for you, you know. So now, you know, I finished that call last night, 9:30, 10 o'clock, poured myself a gin and tonic, got on my Xbox, you know, played Call of Duty for an hour and a half, then did some emails, got to bed for about 1:45, 1:30, something like that. And then, you know, up early again this morning, and I'm like that all the time.
Do you ever switch off though? Like even when you're on your Xbox, are you still thinking about stuff?
No, then I'm getting, then I am like, I'm in it now, because that meditation's helped me as well, with the fact that when I'm meditating. When I'm playing Call of Duty, I'm playing Call of Duty. You know, so that's another thing, focusing your attention a little bit, and that's what meditation does. It focuses your attention, because you're doing a bit of breath work and inner work. You become more focused without even realising. And that's been a couple of years. So I've become more focused on things. So
yeah, do you have any kind of like?
Say again, sorry.
Do you have any kind of like daily or weekly or monthly routine or anything, or is it just your life to this meeting's got to happen then? And
no, I'm terrible. I mean, I was just doing a training course. I mean, I'm nothing's changed. I got fired from all my jobs. That's another good thing. In fact, I got fired from hairdressing. Although I'm a very good hairdresser, still do my wife's hair and still do a few bits of look. I do like that. My timekeeping is shit. My organisation still now is crap. Like I was outside, I think, fuck, what's the time? So I ran in here quickly and jumped on the call. I did a Zoom call yesterday. It was a training call that was really important. I missed it. So the guys had to wait half an hour late. And, so I am that's where I could do better. And I'm definitely going to get a PA now. I did have a PA working remotely for me, but now I'm going to get somebody who's actually working in the office when we get it all renovated. But so I've got weaknesses still. Yes, everybody. Yeah. I sound like some sort of perfect guru. I'm definitely not. 100% not. But it's about mindset. I have confidence in my ability, and that's not always happened, because 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, I had a lot of turmoil in my life with business and stuff. A load of stuff went wrong, and that was right. So that was a really bad thing that happened. That was awful. I had 2 years of that. But you see what I talk about being grateful. That's what brought me into changing. That's when I went on that course. Yeah. Then I got into meditation because I met Billy Schwer and that sort of stuff. And so I just believe it's all a thing. But I also believe, because I'm a good person, and I know that, again, another woo-woo, I don't go stitching people up. I don't do bad things. Always want to try and help people. And I feel like if you're good like that internally, then you'll just attract that good stuff happen to you as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But anyway.
It's all fascinating, man. It's all fascinating. So, mate, I've got to talk to you about Necker Island.
Oh.
We've got to have a big crack about that, like.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, you spent a week on Necker Island with Richard Branson.
Yeah. Little old me, the hairdresser.
So how did that even come about?
I joined this. I just joined this networking again, just a random, and I was questioning myself. It's an expensive trip, by the way. I got a deal on it, and I love a deal, by the way, as you can probably tell. So it was $50,000 a person for a week. Yeah, dollars that is. So it was. I think actually the exact number is $96,000 for a couple to go for. I don't even think it's 7 days. I think it's like 5 days or something. So this email came through for these guys that I met up in Cardiff network. Again, one of my goals was, one of my goals was that particular year when I wrote down, when I started the meditation, one of my goals in my book was I was going to start doing more networking, because I've been a lone ranger for years. Now, I love the fact that you new guys network, because it's good, because that wording, your network, whatever your network, or
your network is your net worth.
That's the one. I've never networked. Fucking Lone Ranger Dom, do this, do that, but now I realise, and I have built networks, I'm 52 years old, but not a network like how you guys network, which is a great thing. So then that was one of my goals, was to start networking more, to put myself out there with a few other people. And then, so I got this introduction, said, look, we've got this special trip going on. There's 12 of us going to Necker Island. There's 150 people going on the island only. And these guys are, a lot of them are billionaires. The average net worth was 150 million, which wasn't evenly distributed, by the way. But yeah, so the average net worth was 150 million, and it was just, it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. So, but yeah, very expensive trip. Again, just another thing. Sometimes you stick your neck out. There's a word called, can't remember it. Maybe if we do another call another time, I'll send you it. It's called, when you step out and do something in life, when you step out and you go out of your comfort zone, what they call it now. Yeah, there's something else. There's another force, whatever you want to call it. that's an invisible force or something that helps you push along when you know, when you, they say, and this is the true word for it. So fortune favors the brave. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about, you know. Yeah. So whatever you are in your business world, fortune favors the brave. And there's a reason for that word. That word, that line has been around for hundreds of years. They wouldn't have just said it, oh, fortune favors the brave. No, but actually fortune does favor the brave. You know, those that do stick out and, you know, do that extra. And, you know, there's something else, that fortune, that thing I was talking about, is a force that pushes you, that helps you along. So I got invited to Necker Island. It's an expensive trip. Didn't take my wife, so I had to pitch my wife. Cost me a Rolex, by the way. That was her Christmas present. The trip was in November. So she goes, oh, that'd be great. I thought, well, I don't really want it because it was an expensive trip. It was more than a Rolex. So, yeah, I thought, I don't really want to take her on this expensive trip. She won't enjoy it as much as me. It's business networking, although she wanted the thing to go meet Richard Branson. Anyway, so I went on the trip. The problem was, I was on the trip. Everybody else there was for business reasons. All the other 11 people, whatever it was, they were there for networking and wanted to get investment by these other entrepreneurs. Mine just turned out to be an expensive piss-up. And I thought, this is mad. You know, you go on a bloody expensive trip, and which was making money. And there's no real reason I was going, apart from the fact it'd be great to meet Richard Branson, of course, you know. And I was into tennis, so I took my tennis racket. Anyway, so, but out of it fell this other business that I've just got involved in. So, you know, everything falls for a reason. So that trip, I've paid 10 times over through this business that I got introduced to in March. So, you know how things, so fortune favours a brave. All right, it was a brave move. It was a good piss up, actually, as it goes as well. So got invited to the trip. We got 5-star luxury out there, you know, like a little plane with only 6 of us on it. Bloody rackety thing. Amazing, on Beef Island. It was just, you know, beautiful. And then got to meet Richard Branson a lot. And I don't know if you saw the videos of me motivating that girl from Manchester to pour water on his head. You know, we got him drunk, and it was just great to be around such, you know, and he's very much like hippie-ish in a way. He had his hippie sort of. And I think when you read his book and his business deals, a lot of his were, you know, him on his boat, you know, doing a deal with the bank manager with his baby sitting on his lap, you know, that relaxed type of chilled out type of things. It doesn't need to be all formal. And I know these days it is a lot more informal, because 20 odd years ago, people with shirt and ties all the time, you know, that sort of, you know, which doesn't happen anymore. So, but yeah, so Necker Island was absolutely brilliant. There was there was one guy that was really interested. I don't know if you guys have already been to the States. There was a chain of restaurants called, there's a steak chain of restaurants. Oh, what they call? I'll come back to you in a minute on that. I met the owner. Now talk about this is unbelievable. He was worth 3.4 billion, and he was a chef. Yeah, so he had this special sauce for this steak. You would have heard of if you've been to the States. I can't remember the name of it now. Anyway, Outback Restaurant Group chain. Yeah, he was a chef. Okay, so he got this lovely fresh steak sauce, put on his steak, really successful, and decided to open a restaurant. He opened from 1988 to 2000, was it 2008 or something like that? He opened 1,500 restaurants. He said it was opening a restaurant a week. You know, a restaurant a week. I mean, I know what it's like to open a restaurant because I supply them. And somebody plans it 3 months in advance. He was opening a restaurant a week, you know, no stopping him. And so all these people on there, I think there was 6 billionaires there, including Richard Branson, so another 5. It was mind blowing. There was a guy from your neck of the woods. He owns a chain of shops called, you know, these discount shops. It's not B&M. It's one of them. Home Bargains. Yeah. He's something. I'm sure he's up near you. Oh no, he's Liverpool, the other side. He came in his private jet. Yeah, from Liverpool. There was an auction room. There were 70 people in the auction room. They raised $1.5 million in an hour in the auction. You know, it was all unbelievable. You know, and these were not these were tickets to, like, you know, hospitality, back of house meet, big stars type of things, you know, going for 50 grand a ticket, that sort of stuff. It was insane. And it was just, you know, and that was in his great room.
Yeah.
And we drank one night. There was only the networking group, so there was only 13 people. There was Richard Branson, the other 11 that went, and the guy doing this cognac tasting. We had a Louis the 13th brandy, which was $14,000 a bottle. And me and my mate, we just, like, afterwards, they left the bottle there so you can finish it. We were just necking like shots, like tequila. Yeah, and then we went to London to the Winter Wonderland and went to the hotel opposite, and they had the Louis the 14th. And one shot in this hotel in London, I'm not exaggerating, have a look for yourself, Louis the 14th, 300 quid for a shot. And we were necking it like they were, you know, like chasers.
Was that all inclusive in the price, was it?
Oh, fucking, yeah, the price we paid, absolutely, yeah. No, that was a special event. That was a guy that came all the way from Miami to do this drinks thing with Richard Branson, and that's what I got invited to. That's what the level was at. Yeah. And I thought, well, you know, this is not bad considering, you know, life's not too bad.
No. Was Branson all right, was he?
Oh, he's sound. I mean, it's a shame, I've got a video of him, you know, standing on the table doing a talk to everybody. He's so laid back. He doesn't wear shoes on the whole island in his house. You know, it's not even flip-flops, just barefoot. You know, likes to drink, and just like anybody else. This is the interesting thing. I was sitting next to this brain surgeon. Turns out he's not just a brain surgeon, he's like a famous guy, lives in Vegas. And he shouted, he was pissed. And Richard was walking back, Richard, I want to be a billionaire like you. He was like, I want to be a billionaire like you. And this is on the beachfront. It was, I mean, the setting was amazing. It was on the beachfront. I want to be a billionaire like you, you know, pissed. And Richard said, well, you know, so he knew him. He knew that he was a brain surgeon. He goes, well, you're never going to be a billionaire if you're doing the brains, as in you're working on the brain, you know. And he goes, well, how do I, you know, what do I need to do? He said, I'm not even brilliant. I just found, and this is in his book as well, I just found people that are better than me to do it. That's it. You know, so you've all got your own skill sets in life. If you can't do something, you just have to turn to somebody else to do it for you. And that's all he did. That's how he built his companies, by finding better people to do it. And he was just able, he was a deal maker, wasn't he? You know, so if you're a deal maker and you can negotiate people, then you can and there's enough money in the deal, you're putting a deal together, then you get somebody else to come and do the other work, the donkey work, or whatever it is for you. And I suppose you just go from a small deal to a bigger deal, a bigger deal, a bigger deal, a bigger deal, and you then become financially successful.
And is that what you do in your business, mate? You're kind of out of it, you're doing the deals?
Yeah, I do deals, but I still like to get hands on. If there's a deal there, you know, like this morning, it was a $5,000 deal, and the lady emailed me. Normally it came through to my email, I forwarded it up to my sales guy, and it was a quick answer, quick response for, you know, you know, is available to go, you know, we can get it over to you tomorrow. And it was $5,000. I thought, yeah, so it took me a minute to write the thing, but it's $5,000 sales. So I still like to get in and you know, do them sort of things. But there's a lot of hours in the day to do stuff. If you're getting the right business, you know, if you're just trying to find the right business. And I don't know where you all are financially. I'd love to be able to know where you all are. But, you know, I suppose on the, you know, if you just find, you know, wherever if you're sticking to property only, then stick to your property and be the best you can be. You know, if you can be the best in property, then do that. But it's nice to have multiple streams of income, you know. So if you slow down on the property, you've got something else, you know, or, you know, whatever it is. So just have multiple streams.
So other than the developments you're doing, are you just flogging all of the developments? Are you holding any units?
Right. So these 8 that I've just done, I've sold 3. I've sold that. So there's no structure here, right? So don't worry about fucking this dime stuff. I don't structure. I'm still thinking about taking the other 5 off the market, because up the road and a mile away is a university opening being built in 2022. So I'm thinking, actually, you know, when we built these, we did build them with the idea in mind that we could, they're 3-bedroom houses, but they're quite big. We could do 4-bed HMOs. So I'm still thinking now, should we keep the 5 but we've got another 4 HMOs in that vicinity. So that'll be, you know, that'll be 9 HMOs. And now I'm doing more building. I'm finding the profitability. I could actually make more profit from, if it's just profit related, from building. So that's why I'm thinking about selling them, using money to reinvest in something else. I don't know the answer to that question on whether.
Do you ever bother with like the daft little single lets now? Not really.
No, I mean, if I get a deal, I don't do a deal. I just bought a single let, but again, now this was a good example. So I bought the single let. Just so you know, I don't know how many of you landlords, yeah. So this is what happened to me last week. In 1 week, okay. This is what, when you got your fingers in many pies, you can't expect everything good to happen to you all the time. So this was in the last 3 weeks. I had this is what's happened as a life of an entrepreneur, especially like me, who's probably should be a little bit more organised. I had a single let, my last single let that I just bought. So on to that question, they just found 350 grams worth of hash in there, whatever it's called, marijuana. Right, on the front page of the paper and on the news, right? So that was my single let, but just on that deal. So I bought the single let. So that's one I bought. It was slightly overpriced, but when I bought it, there was an annex there. Okay, it's quite a big annex. They turned it into a music studio. So I bought the single let, 4-bedroom annex. I'm thinking straight away I can turn that into a resi, yeah, which I did do. So I renovated and turned it into a 1-bedroom flat next to it. Plus, on top of that, there was quite a big back garden, and I could see straight away. So by looking at it, you know, I'm sure a lot of you can do this anyway, right? See the house, see the annex, side entrance, bang, bosh. Oh, we could probably get a little 3-bed in the back corner as well, you know. So that's the way that. So I do still, yeah. Look, it was a deal. It got delivered to me, got presented to me, like all these things are happening for me at the moment. So I bought it, and the guy needed a quick sale. I mean, you think I'm bad? He bought the place without even viewing it. Yeah, didn't even view it, literally. So he bought it. He's prepared to take a hit. He put a load of cash into it. He needed the cash back quick. So I did a deal. I gave him it was a bit of a, it was not even a proper deal. Like, you know, it was a deal where he needed money literally that within a week. So I gave him quite a bit of money on a contract, then did the completion exchange. So yes, I do the odd one. So.
Yeah, and then in terms of your properties, mate, do you put all of that out onto a management? Have you got somebody in house doing it for you? Or?
No, I've got a management company. I've got a deal with them. I've been with them for the same one for years, so they've given me a really good deal.
Yeah.
And they actually let I rent them a building, so I do them a deal on that, and then they look after me on a really good deal on these lets.
Yeah.
So, but
cool.
I mean, I'm not increasing my buy-to-let portfolio now because I'm doing more on the building side. But again, if a deal, it's like anything, you can't be close. You can't say that's what I'm going to do, that's what I'm not going to do. If a deal comes up and it's a good deal, then you're going to just take it, you know.
Yeah, mate, I'm conscious of time. I know you've got a 12 o'clock appointment there, but do you mind sharing with us your 2021 goals? What you're looking to achieve in 2021?
Yeah, so always at the top of the goal, and that has been there for a number of years, is lose a bit of weight. I did start by eating donuts.
10 o'clock in the morning donut session.
Yeah. I think that my main, so if you want to go on to like business goals, is to get my main business here fully operational without me. So we do a turnover at 1.5 million. It's not a massive company, but it's smaller, but it gives me a good profit. I've got another business, which was the barber shop business. I think I told you about.
Yeah. I got my haircut there when I was in Peterborough, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I actually sold that business during lockdown. By the way, just quickly talk about these things happening. Who sells 2 businesses during lockdown? That's what happened to me. That's on what my A4 sheet was. And they were both business people that just approached me, said, we're going to buy your barbershop business. So I did it, and now it's gone. It's dead. You know, so it was just the right move at the right time. I didn't want to because the cash flow from that was brilliant for barbershops. So one of my other goals is to re-establish that. I'm still in with the same partner. So we've got 5 sites next year to roll out the barber pod. He's going to run that. The other goal is to increase my my build. So we're going to roll that out. Steve works for a construction company full time. Our goal is to get him out of the job so we can set up, and that's why we're renovating here. Yeah. Get him an office, and so turn that into a formal company. So we're doing more more buying land and developing, which would be a good thing. Yeah. And then this network business that I'm involved in now, to move it to a bigger level of that. I want to go to Panama next year, to their head offices, and meet the team there. So I've got, I haven't actually formalised, written them down yet, but they'll all be around about that. Then I have my personal goals, and I break them down into my, health, fitness, spirituality, that sort of stuff. And then I put down my financial goals. Then you put down then you break it down to properties, barbers, so that's it. Just a few lines on each, and it doesn't need to be massive. Just, free. Don't worry, if I can go on 5 passes, she'll be fine. So say, like you say, well, health, you call it I want to do this, do that, build a bit of muscle, so you put 4 areas in there, business. So the build project, get Steve out of his job, look for another 2, do this amount, obviously we don't want to overstretch ourselves next year, get the funding in place, all that sort of stuff. So, another 3 goals, sometimes quite big, a bit too big, that you can stretch and push them. So yeah, and I just keep them so they excite you, but keep them relatively real at the same time. Yeah.
So do you know, going back to one of the first ones there, to make the whole thing operational without you?
Yeah.
How will you go about doing that? Will you ask advice from a friend who's done it? Will you read about it? How will you achieve that?
On this particular instance, so I've read a lot of books, and I've read that, like Richard Branson said, find better people that can do it. The guy here, Chris, that runs my place, for my manager, he's much more organised than me, but he's good, but he's got a family, so he needs to, so I'm going to give him a good wage rise, just to make sure. I'm going to keep him money back. I'm actually going to give him a share of the company as well, like a smaller share. So with him, I'm going to give him 2.5% of the company, which is a substantial, really. Yeah. But I'm going to increase. I would say he wants to have, he wants to improve himself in life, and he's a good guy. He's by my side all the time. So when you get good people in your life, look after them. So what I'll do is I'll give him 2.5%. I've already planned it. I haven't put it formalised yet. Plan 2.5%. Then what I'll do is over the next 5 years, I'll probably give him another 7.5% over 5 years or 10 years. Then that locks him in to the deal. He's not going to go anywhere. He'll have a good wage. The company, then it's down to him to make sure the company's profitable, because now he can have a profit share as well. So yeah, that should be, pretty straightforward. But after saying that, my problem is I still want to be a little bit hands-on. So I can never pull myself out like that deal. I couldn't help myself, $5,000. I'll still give him the commission because he wanted the commission for it. So, but I can't help but yeah. So I still, so what I'm having my area all done now. I've got a new desk coming and new glass panels and making it all look nice. And that's where I'm going to run my whole thing. Yeah. As long as I promise I won't get too involved. Yeah.
Well, mate, honestly, thank you so much for your time. It's been brilliant.
Anybody wants to ask any questions, or if and look, I just, I really appreciate you. I've never done anything like this before. Actually, it's the first time. It's great to know Paul. The guy's like, he's invested so much money in himself and his training, and I'm really, that's why I follow him on Facebook and I ring him every now and again to see how he's doing, because I really want him to do well. And same as everybody here, you've all took a bit of time out, and I appreciate that. And it makes me feel nice that I babble on a bit too much. But if I can help anyone, because I remember what I was like. I was really tense when I was, when I started business, my first ever business, whilst I was doing the hairdressing. The reason I get fired was I opened up a burger stand outside a nightclub. That was my first thing. And the customers used to complain that I used to go stinking of onions while I was cutting their hair. And then I was late, so I was working till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning outside the nightclubs, selling hot dogs and burgers. Then go cutting people's hair. I stunk. So then but I remember for all them years, so I got out of that burger business. I went into something else, lost all my money into a recruitment agency, which I tried doing when I was 20. I had no idea. It was a franchise. And then from 20, I had really quite a torrid 10 years of shit going wrong, with my mum dying and losing another business. I could never get back up to that run. And when you get on this run of bad luck, sometimes you think life is so shit. And I really wouldn't want anybody to suffer like I did during that. I had a lot of anxiety. What I now know is anxiety. I didn't know what that meant at the time because it wasn't in the books or on Google or on YouTube. But now I know what it was, and I had years of that. So if I can now help anybody, like I said to you a little while ago, I want to do something for the young kids, you know, the 14, 15-year-olds that want to learn stuff. So if I can help anybody on here, I'd love to answer any questions that you might think that I can help you with, because I don't want anybody to suffer that pain.
Yeah. Anybody want to unmute themselves and ask a question?
No, we're all good. I've probably done too much talking.
Mine's not a question, but hang on, I'll put my video on. Hi. Hi there. I've got the sun in my eyes. So
yeah, how nice.
I can see it on your back wall as well.
yeah, we've got some sun there today.
I just want to say that you have just cheered me up so much. I've just had the best time. It's been fabulous. I've really, really enjoyed your story. It's just so inspiring. So it's just a big thank you. And I think you're marvellous.
Look, you know, I was analysing this with a friend of mine the other day, and the reason why I share this sort of stuff, and sometimes I am self-conscious that I go on too much. So I've got a million stories to tell you that I could tell you, but the reason is because I had that time of suffering internally from when I was 14, 15. I had my first ever, what I now know, anxiety attack, and maybe even had a bit of depression. I don't know, but I remember being relatively sad. And then sometimes in life, if you get that urge, that calling of wanting to be successful, and it's not working for you, it makes it even worse. That just tops up the anxiety even worse. Then you think, not only am I anxious and have palpitations and all that, now I'm fucking failure as well, you know, because you're not achieving your goals. And sometimes you can beat yourself up. I used to terribly beat myself up. Yeah. So now what I want to try and do is, I don't want anybody else to go through that in life. You know, I want people to have a nice life, whoever it might be, and to people be happy, because when you get that happy feeling, it's lovely. And then you just spread, you know, more joy. And so if that's what I mean, but if I can help anybody with anything, you know, whether that be entrepreneurship, or I love to help. In fact, I built a website. I haven't launched it because it was COVID, but I built a website called makesomeone'sday.co.uk. That was just, it was a gesture. So you would do something. I paid for a lady shopping in Tesco's. She didn't have enough money, so I paid for her shopping, and she couldn't be thankful enough. But she said, "Oh, what, you know, the only thing I wanted for her to do was to spread that to somebody else. Maybe give a $5 to the guy on the street that didn't have a $5 or whatever. Not for me, for anything. It was she could spread that, and then they could spread it. So I've got this website. I'll send you the link soon, guys. So I want to try and get some comments on there. And it's about one person helping another helping another helping, and hopefully spread the word. So my point being that's why I like to talk a lot, to try and get my story out there, so people hopefully don't suffer and don't beat themselves up. I spent all them years doing that, which wasn't very nice to myself.
Fantastic. Well, thank you.
I read in the book, would you speak to your best friend the way you speak to yourself? You know,
that's really good, isn't it? It's very powerful.
You know, yeah. You call yourself a prick or a fucking idiot. What did you do that? You wouldn't speak to your best friend like that, would you?
Absolutely.
You know, but sometimes we talk to ourselves in a negative way. You fucking loser. What's wrong with you? Whatever, you know. And we all still do it. It's just natural, you know. But sometimes you think that, then you probably, you know, not so quite hard on yourself. And I was hard on myself for years. And really, when I started reading them books as I got a little bit older, and I started to understand a bit more psychology and what we do to ourselves, then you become kinder to yourself, and then you become a better person.
What would you say is the best book you've ever read?
Oh God. So the best, there was a lady when my mum was dying. I took her. There was no internet them days, so not even mobile phones. It was phone boxes. We didn't even have a bloody phone at home. There was 20 odd, and there was a book called oh God, no, you put me right on the spot. I can't remember the title. I'll have to send it to you. Because this lady was trying to help my mum with cancer and stuff. She was a spiritual type lady. It didn't work, unfortunately, because my mum, there was a language barrier. So my mum was Italian, didn't speak very good English. But so I can't remember that. I'll come back to that one. So the best, I think it's Robert Kiyosaki, you know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I really like that book because it's really good. That's from business and a really understanding of how you make, you know, like you talked about the quadrant, you know, the wealth quadrant. I think that was his title of it, but, you know, where it's into 4 sections.
No, I think right, yeah.
What you do with your money to reinvest the money that you get today, no matter how much you earn, you put a tenner away or 20 away or for, you know, whatever it is, you can just soon build it up, you know. So I like that, but I've read quite a lot of books. I can't remember which is my favourite actually.
I've never read that one, you know, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
It's a good book.
Yeah.
It talks basic. It's relatively basic, and that's why I bought my daughter that one. So it's probably a good one to read. Yeah.
He's got a board game as well, hasn't he? For the
yeah,
kids.
yeah, it has. Yeah, that's a good game. So yeah. So just you know, just try and get an understanding of yourself. You know, if you're happy inside, it's about happiness inside. You know. And it's probably easy for me to say now, and I was analysing that as well. I do quite a lot of analysing. I was analysing, is that because now I'm in much more of a financially comfortable position, or could I have been like that anyway without the finances? And that's what I was trying to get at with this meditation. You know, whether you're a rich man, poor man, unhealthy, whatever, you're just still happy on the inside. If you can get to that attainment, that's what I'd like to really try and get to, where you're at peace all the time, and it's just enough. I don't want to be a Buddha. I don't want to be a monk or anything, but, you know, it'd be nice to have that sort of, what's it called? So, yeah. So it's a good combination, guys, of business, being astute, being savvy, being able to look at a deal, being able to communicate with people, being happy on the inside as well. That's it. That's what life is. All we want in there. You know, so, yeah.
Top man. Well, like I was saying on the phone last night after COVID, I'd like to start running some events and stuff, and particularly in London, so I'll have to get you down, Dom, get you on stage and share your
just give me a structure to speak to, because the problem is I could talk for 3 hours and just talk like, that's the only problem. Just, you know, very much like my life, you know, late here, late there, you know. So if you give me a structure, I can speak. But Dominic, you have to put in my, Dominic, shut the fuck up. So.
Well, Dom, thank you so much for your time. A lot of people thanking you in the comments there.
Sorry about my swearing, guys, by the way.
Oh, it's all right. They're used to it. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll have to pop down and see you after lockdown.
You're very welcome. I'll show you these houses, mate. That'd be great. Yeah,
for sure.
If anybody I'm always open to. If anybody wants to ask anything directly, more than happy to just try and help people, whatever it is.
Top man. Thank you very much, Dom.
I'll catch you. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks very much.
See you later. Bye bye.
Rendezvous.